What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to MLB Swing for the Fences DFS show here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. It's Tuesday, September 9th, recovering from a mostly fun weekend of NFL football, but we're back here talking baseball. It's been a few days since we've been on the baseball show. Joined as always on Tuesdays. Steve Boynton, how you doing on this Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah, it's been a week for me. Glad that JT was able to cover for me on Friday. Snuck up to Wrigley for the first win game in a while, and it did not disappoint. There was 14 or 15 runs in that game, so that was fun. The games were more fun than the DFS for me this weekend for NFL. But we've got a couple weeks left of baseball. Good slate tonight. Want to shout out one of our members who won the Millie on Sunday. I'm sure you saw that, DC, with one of the great Discord names of all time, IB Clappin' Ya Mama, took down the Millie. So that's always cool. The Discord was sweating them home. So
I saw some Discord members saying, my mom is single. Feel free, maybe I can get a piece of that in the inheritance or something like that. But
right.
No, awesome win. You do love to see it. And yeah, he certainly had a better NFL Sunday than I did. I can't believe I trusted the long-haired Trevor Lawrence. Not sure what I was thinking, Steve.
No, I did too. My main team was a Lawrence game stack.
Need to come to my senses for week 2. So we'll get there. We got a few days to get ready for NFL week 2. Well, it's good to see J.J. McCarthy take down Caleb Williams yesterday. So at least the week ended on a high note. But we got 11 baseball games to talk about, so we better not waste any more time. Jump in. We will return this Tuesday, Steve, with Ticket Tuesdays. At least that's what we called them. Have yet to give away a ticket. I think we are now 6-0 in the YouTube chat versus me and you. Maybe it's not fair. There's 2 of us and just 1 member of chat. But we'll keep it going. We'll do them on Fridays now, too. It's going to be me and you on Fridays going forward. And hopefully someone today or someone soon can win one of those flagship tickets from us. So we'll keep an eye on the chat. Get one of you guys in there to compete for a free entry into tomorrow's flagship DraftKings contest. With that, though, Steve, let's get into these games. We do start off in Yankee Stadium in New York. Right-hander Will Warren, right-hander Casey Mize going. Warren's been pretty solid for the Yankees most of the year. He does have that big split where he just kind of crushed by lefties, especially on the road. At home against righties, he's been good. But I think, 5 or 6 lefties here in the Tigers lineup. Not the best spot for Warren. Should be good pitching weather here in Yankee Stadium. Cool with some wind blowing in. So home runs a little bit tougher to come by than they typically are here. And then, Casey Mize, kind of just I think kind of a, classic number 3 type of starter. Doesn't do anything particularly well or poorly. A guy you can use in the right matchups and, stack against in the wrong matchups for Mize. I do think despite, pretty tough hitting weather, this Yankees team has some upside, as always, hitting in Yankee Stadium. Your thoughts here, Steve? Tigers and Yankees.
Yeah, interesting one to start us off. Good real-life game here, with the first-place Tigers against the Yankees. That AL East has tightened up a bit. I think both the Yankees and Boston are within a couple games now. So big games down the stretch will be fun to watch overall. But, for DFS purposes, I'm not really on either of these pitchers here. We were chatting a bit beforehand. One of the tighter pitching pools for me for the entire season tonight. So I'm going to be fairly tight on pitcher. Don't have any interest in Mize in Yankee Stadium despite the weather. Warren, a better play, I think, but not a great one. As you said, got Saber up on the screen here. And we do have the Tigers lineup with a ton of lefties in there. Parker Meadows is now back, which just adds yet another left-handed bat to this Tigers lineup. So no real interest in either pitcher here. I just kind of want to get over on all the pitchers that I do like that will go through on the show. I think the best plays in this game are the Yankee bats. All very, very low owned for a home game at Yankee Stadium. There's 2 very, very clear spots for offense on this slate. The Yankees team total on Sabres up near 5, though. And I know both of us love to play this team when no one else is on them. Their power, like we've been saying, can break any slate, especially in this park. Mize has had his fair share of complete blow-up outings, including 2 of his last 3. So I think the best plays in this game are the Yankee bats. They are expensive, but I think there's some cheaper pitching that we can look at on this slate to fit a Yankee stack. So Yankee bats for me, specifically hunting the power against Mize.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and both of us are going to have a pretty tight pitching pool today. Neither Mize nor Warren making the cut. Yeah, super low ownership, really on everything in this game. But you mentioned the Yankees bats, super low. These Tigers lefties, I think, are decent plays too. Carpenter, Green, even Meadows at 2,500 down there in the 9 hole, I think are all reasonable plays against Warren, who has struggled against lefties. Let's go to the next game. It's Shane Bieber, Luis Garcia, the lunch lady, back in our lives. Did have good results in that first start back against the Angels, 6 strikeouts over 6 solid innings, 79 pitches. But velocity was down significantly for Garcia, which could probably will, if it stays that low, spell trouble for him going forward. Gets a Blue Jays team that's been among the best offenses in baseball throughout the second half of the season. They did lose Bo Bichette to the 10-day IL, so pretty big blow, frankly, to their lineup, but still enough good hitters in there. Springer, Vlad, of course, Varsho, Kirk, Barger. Still enough guys to do damage against Garcia if he is not right. I think they are pretty sneaky. And then, Bieber's been solid through 3 starts. Not as good as that first start out, but decent against both Milwaukee and Cincinnati. Gets an Astros team here that does make a lot of contact, but also just hasn't been doing a lot with the bats. I think, Steve, you mentioned to me pre-show Bieber made your cut. Didn't quite get there for me. Maybe you can convince me on Bieber. And then I know you did do a deep dive into Luis Garcia. So obviously talk to the people about that as well.
Yeah, so Bieber, I added him to the pool late after I did the playbook today. He's my 5th pitcher. I'm only going to have 5 in my pool tonight. Going into that last start, we were pretty much all in on Bieber. We've like we've seen so far. He had 1 bad inning in that last start. His underlying stuff looks amazing. 2.04 xFIP through 3 starts now. It's by far the best on this slate, on what's a tough pitching slate. I mean, we'll talk about Kirby later. I like him, but I do think that Bieber has more upside than Kirby if things are really rolling. I think Bieber's a really fun tournament play here. Like you said, the Astros lineup, outside of Jordan, has really done nothing of late against righties. 26th in weighted runs created plus, 26 in ISO last 30 days. And we get Bieber really low owned on a slate where I don't love a ton of pitching. So I think he's a fun, contrarian tournament play and a pivot to George Kirby. I just, I'm not going to hop off of Bieber because he had 1 bad inning last start. And I think that he's going to be great down the stretch for a team that needs to win. This is a big, we're starting the slate with 2 big series here. Houston going to Toronto. Toronto's got the Yankees and the Red Sox right on their ass for the division. I think Bieber pitches well here. I like Toronto in this game too. I bet them earlier because of what you said with Garcia. His velo is way, way down compared to pre-injury. This is now a guy that's had multiple major long-term injuries in his career and has always been a fly ball pitcher. So this is a guy who's now down to 90-91 fly ball pitcher going to Toronto, a team that's been top 3, top 5 against righties the entire season. So I really like Toronto as a contrarian offense tonight. No one's going to play him. They've been hot. Like you said, it sucks that they lost Bichette. But we do have a bunch of cheap bats in this lineup that are going to allow us to play, Springer, Vlad, Varsho, Barger. So really like the Blue Jays here on both sides. I'll be over on Bieber for sure. I think Toronto is the sneakiest stack of the slate. We've talked a lot about trying to be ahead of, certain things that may be wrong with pitchers or, I guess stuff that the public usually is a wait and see on, where I know you're the same way here. I would rather take a swing and try to be early on something like this. And Luis Garcia, hadn't pitched in almost 2 years. Him throwing 90 miles an hour is not going to cut it. I mean, he had a nice outing, but it was against the Angels, who, everyone has a high strikeout outing against the Angels, and he still did give up the 2 bombs. So I like Toronto all around here. I think they're the sneakiest stack of the slate.
One advantage of trying to get in early on something like this, it's not like if Garcia, his velocity's back, it's not like you're drawn dead. Even if that is the case, they could easily still get to a prime version of Garcia. But like you mentioned the fastball velocity down around 3 miles per hour. It wasn't just the fastball; it was all his pitches. And the other interesting thing, Steve, is nothing else changed about him. Right? He's throwing like the same pitches at roughly the same percentages that we've seen. So the only difference was that he just lost 2, 3, 4 miles per hour on all 4 of his pitches.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come back, and honestly, if it was going to be back, you would probably be back game 1, right? You've got all the adrenaline going, back pitching in the majors for the first time in 2 years.
He had a bunch of rehab starts too. So, it's not like he's, cold coming back.
Yeah. And then, even with we'll talk about Spencer Strider coming up here in a second, but like he was actually best at the beginning of the year, his velocity and stuff like that. And he's kind of tailed off. So I think there's real chance that Garcia is not right. And that's someone to get, try to take a chance against, get some Toronto bats. So I'm with you on them. I didn't see that Garcia velocity when I wrote my article, so I didn't list Toronto, but I certainly have interest in them now. And the other side of it too, Bieber didn't quite make the cut for me, but yeah, the more you talk about it, and you got to factor in the ownership, right? 5% for Shane Bieber. It's just too low for how good of a pitcher he is, especially on a tough slate for pitching. So I'm with you. All Toronto here for me. We got you pick someone there for the 3-man.
Yeah, Christian has been in the chat for all of our shows, usually talking shit to us. So Christian, send me a DM on Twitter. We'll get you in the contest tonight. And yeah, just the last thing on the Toronto spot, DC. It's not like we're taking a chance with like a mediocre offense here. This is a really, really good offense at home. So I just really like this spot for a contrarian stack.
I'm with you. I'm going to be joining you on the Blue Jays. Let's go to the next game. We do have Spencer Strider here. Really, really struggling down the stretch here is Spencer Strider. I've been kind of there since day one, saying he's not even close to the same pitcher. And he kind of almost faked his way through it for a while, but the chickens have come home to roost with Strider. He's been hit very hard. Still, the results are almost not as bad as they could be. I posted in Discord earlier. Since August 1st, he's got an ERA over 9. And the indicators, the xFIP, xERA, that type of stuff, are really not much better, especially considering how high the actual ERA is. I mean, you can make a good case he's been the worst pitcher, least effective pitcher in baseball, starting pitcher in baseball over the last month and a half, which is a crazy thing to say, I know, about Spencer Strider, but the numbers don't lie here. He also appears to be getting worse. I wouldn't be surprised, Steve, if this is the last time we see Spencer Strider. I doubt he's going to finish the season. I mean, how many more shellings are they going to let this guy take for absolutely no reason, as you like to say? So I think, I don't know. I don't want to miss out on the last Spencer Strider start of 2025. He doesn't have it right now. He's a 2-pitch pitcher, and neither pitch is very effective. Unfortunately, he gets this Cubs team that has just really died out. I mean, PCA wasn't so long ago. He was a legit MVP candidate. Hasn't hit much in the second half. Put Kyle Tucker back on the IL today.
Yep.
Michael Busch has kind of flamed out a little bit. It's been a disappointing second half for this Cubs team for sure. That said, I have to be in on Strider given how bad he's been, and also the fact that, I mean, I talk about this every single time Strider pitches. He always gets ownership, and people just don't play hitters against him. It does look like the Cubs are going to be, 5% owned, so maybe changing just a little bit, but I still got to be in on the Cubs here, one of my favorite stacks. I did play them yesterday, too, against Bryce Elder, and that didn't go so well, but we'll go back to the well against Strider. And then Cade Horton, talking about disappointing Cubs second half. Not for Cade Horton. He's been one of the bright spots for them. Took that no-hitter through 5 innings last start, but even in a no-hit game, they pulled him after 75 pitches, right? So to me, that kind of tells me that 75 is like his absolute limit.
Yeah.
Hard to pay $8,200 for a pitcher so limited. So I'm out on Horton, definitely out on Strider. And give me some of these Cubs bats. I think I'm mostly out on the Braves here. Horton's pitched well enough. I think I can look elsewhere. What are you doing, Steve, with Atlanta and Chicago Cubs?
Yeah, Cade Horton, now your favorite for the National League Rookie of the Year. Pretty crazy because he didn't even start making starts until May or June. So he's been awesome. The Cubs bullpen, him and Imanaga in the Cubs bullpen are why they have the top wildcard spot. Definitely has not been the offense, like you said. I'm not playing either pitcher here. We see here on Saber, Strider's still going to get nearly 20% ownership. I will be out on that. You've been banging the drum on this, kind of I'm going to say the leading voice in the anti-Strider movement. I've been stacking against him. I mean, the best DFS nights that I've had in the last month or two have been fading Strider. So I'm going to be doing it again, kind of reluctantly with this Cubs team because of all the reasons that you said. They do get PCA back in the lineup. He was out on Sunday. This is because of the struggles. We've finally gotten the price tags come down on the Cubs. You can see here on the screen, no one above 4,600. So, if you are spending up tonight, I think that there are 3 really solid spend up options. Pretty easy to 5-man the Cubs with a Bieber, with a Kirby. We'll talk about our guy, Emmett Sheehan, later, who's in a great spot too. So I'm with you. I'm going to keep fading Strider. I also agree with you that, I think they could shut him down or move him to the bullpen or something. And it could be after the start. I mean, their season's lost. This is a guy who's had a bunch of injuries. So, if he gets shelled again, this could be the last time we see him this year.
He shaved his mustache, Steve. I saw some, Twitter pictures yesterday. To me, nothing but a sign of pure desperation for.
That's the last gasp.
He's like, probably messed with his mechanics and pitch mix, and now he says, well, what can I do to turn the ship around? Let me shave the stash. It's time of a desperate man. Cubs going to get to Spencer Strider tonight. We're hoping for it. Anyway, let's get to Tampa Bay and Chicago. This one in Chicago, we've got 2 righties, both with some splits here. Yandris Gomez, Adrian Hauser, both struggle against left-handed bats, particularly with Hauser. Very pronounced, especially with the power given up, much more so to left-handed hitters, which, makes this White Sox team profile pretty well. Most of their best bats do swing from the left side, of course, led by Colson Montgomery. I've been playing a lot of Kyle Teal. He's been pretty good. Seen some power from Benintendi lately. I think this White Sox team, as they often have been over the last month or so, somewhat sneaky stack, these lefty bats against Hauser. And then Yandris Gomez, not any good either. Results have been okay for him recently. I'm not really buying it with Gomez, certainly not playing him or Hauser, and definitely looking more at the bats here. I kind of think I like the Chicago side better, partly because they're much cheaper, but where'd you end up with Rays and White Sox?
Yeah, you can't pay $8,600 for Hauser against a bunch of lefties. This White Sox team has been the printer of the second half of the season for DFS. They have gone off so often against mediocre pitching. I know our guy AP has had a bunch of big nights stacking the White Sox. It would be the lefties here for the White Sox. You don't want to play righties against Hauser at all. So, this is an interesting spot. I mean, any game that you go to that isn't the Dodgers or Boston and the A's is going to be low owned. And there's some decent spots. Like, this is obviously not a slam dunk one, and the price tags are pretty high on specifically the Rays side. So it's a bit tough, which is why people are not going to play it. But man, the heart of this Rays order against Gomez, who, like you said, pretty clearly pitching over his head so far, unlikely to continue. And it's not like you're giving up a ton by playing this game. It's pretty chilly everywhere around the country. It's even only in the 70s out in Sacramento. So you aren't giving up that much. I would probably stay away from the bottom of this order if you're playing the Rays. Really like the 2 through 6 stack on the Tampa side. And like you said, I'm only going to play the lefties on the White Sox here.
Yeah, very similar thoughts between us on Rays and White Sox there. Let's get to the next game on the slate. Good time to remind everybody, hit the like button here if you're still grinding out the baseball streets with us in the middle of September. And we got all kinds of packages up over at Run Pure Sports too for all sports. Of course, the rest of baseball season, but NFL in full swing. We've got big UFC card coming up. Everything else you need over at runpuresports.com. You can use promo code RPS15 for 15% off your first payment. Let's get to Milwaukee and Texas then. It is Jack Leiter going for the Rangers. Has been pretty good recently. 3 big starts in a row for Jack Leiter. I've played him a ton this year, Steve. He's just been so cheap all year long. You're going to get the 90-plus pitches. Some talent is there. And he's been a good play for me for much of the season. I don't think I'm going there here against the Brewers. I actually think the Brewers stack is a little bit interesting against Leiter, who seems to just have like a lot of good matchups in general, and this isn't one of them. Certainly can run on him a little bit too. I just think this Brewers team could see them getting a lot of guys on base and causing some havoc on the bases. So I think they're interesting as a contrarian stack. And then Chad Patrick pitching for the Brewers, who they kind of got a little pitching factory going there. The Brewers do. It seems like everyone they throw out there seems to perform better than you would think they would. Patrick, a 5-inning pitcher. He's gone 5 innings and 7 straight starts. I guess he did go 5 1/3 technically last time out, but clearly they have a plan with him. 5 and dive with Chad Patrick. He still put up some decent scores at 7K, and I do expect him to pitch pretty well while he's in there against the Rangers, but a little bit tough with pretty much a strictly 5-inning pitcher. Steve, what are you doing with Brewers and Rangers here?
Yeah, I mean, he's been there, like SP5, SP6 for most of the year. He'd be a middle rotation arm for the majority of the league. I like him here in Texas as a cheap option. Not my favorite arm on the slate, but he is one of the 5 pitchers in my pool. I'm not going to play Leiter against the Brewers. I mean, when's the last time a pitcher had even a good outing against Milwaukee? They're so pesky. They don't strike out. Like you said, they're going to run when they get on base. I'm with you. I think the Brewers bats are at least decently intriguing here against Leiter, who does have a bunch of blowout outings on his resume this year. He's been good of late, but he hasn't faced a team like the Brewers, who are clearly, going for it every game. They're putting pressure on pitchers basically every inning. And yeah, like you said, you can run on Leiter. You can definitely run on the Rangers catchers too. So Brewers bats are my preferred way to go in this game. And I will have some Patrick as well.
Yeah, Leiter had that one brilliant outing against the Guardians, but he's still walking a lot of dudes. I mean, it's 2, 3, 4 walks almost every time out. It can spell trouble for a team like the Brewers, who can get going on the base pass too. So, yeah, I think this Brewers team makes a lot of sense as a contrarian option. And like you said, ownerships are condensed on just a couple teams, so you're going to get most of this team 5% or below. Roof open in Texas always helps a little bit as well. Let's go to the West Coast for the second half of the slate. We actually got, 6 games out west tonight. So, kind of a little bit of a split slate. This game, Minnesota and the Angels, actually starts an hour and a half after Milwaukee and Texas. So some time to adjust lineup, stuff like that for people that need to. Minnesota and Angels, though. We've got Zebby Matthews going for the Twins. I know I'm on the record being a believer in his talent. Still am. Still kind of waiting on the big results to come for Zebby. Not that he's been terrible, 18.5 last time out, 15 the start before that. Usable scores for a pitcher priced in around this kind of 8K mark, which he is tonight at 7,700. But kind of waiting for the big outing from Matthews. I think it's coming for him eventually, and I mean, this would be the spot to do it, right? This Angels team, tons of strikeouts. It's very right-handed heavy, which is good for Zebby Matthews, throwing from the right side. And I think the Twins, kind of like me, are waiting to really see it from Zebby. I bet they're hoping to get a couple big starts out of him down the stretch. This is the spot to do it for Zebby. So I'm back in here on Zebby Matthews, 7,700, one of my favorite pitchers on the slate. Not going to get to the veteran Kyle Hendricks. I do think this Twins team's a little bit interesting. They do have a decent amount of power in that lineup. And outside of Buxton, who is 6K, so very expensive, but the rest of these guys are pretty cheap, other than Keyshaw is a little priced up as well, but he's been awesome, deserving of that price tag. Stacking against Hendricks certainly doesn't always work out, but it's still a pretty good spot, and the Angels bullpen behind Hendricks is bad as well. One of the better parks to hit in tonight in LA. So, yeah, I think a few things lining up for the Twins, and I got to roll the dice on my guy, Zebby, once again. Steve, what are you doing with this one?
Yeah, Twins are my top team last night, and they are up there tonight as well. Not the top, but they are in the pool again after breaking the slate yesterday. Kyle Hendricks coming off a 3-walk, 0 strikeout performance in his last start. And like you said, a bottom 5 Angels bullpen behind him, if you look at estimators. Looks like we're going to get Buxton back in the lineup tonight. I don't see the lineup out yet, but I think we're expecting Buxton to be back in there. Let me pull it up on Saber. SaberSim has him in there, 6K for him, but very easy to fit him, like you said, DC, with the price tags of the rest of this team. They are swinging it well right now. We saw Royce Lewis went deep twice last night, and pretty reasonable ownership across the board. I do think if you don't want to 5-man them here, DC, I think they're so cheap that they also work as 2- and 3-man's secondary stacks against Hendricks, who's given up just a ton of power this year. 23 home runs already given up by Hendricks. I'm with you on Zebby. I mean, this is the perfect spot for him to have a big start. He had that one huge start against the Nats a month or so ago. This is kind of a similar type of matchup, as far as upside in a different way. I mean, it's just, you just have to stream pitchers against this Angels lineup right now. Zebby's main issue is power from the left-hand side, and you don't really have that threat with this Angels lineup. We've seen the upside that he's shown. The strikeout prop is there. The price tag is good. I think he's pretty clearly the best play under 9K on this slate.
Yeah, I mean, his best pitch is his slider. He got a good fastball too, but that kind of sweeping slider that he has, if he can get it rolling, I mean, he can get a lot of ugly swings out of this Angels team, waving at that pitch down and away.
Yep.
I do think this is a game where, I didn't look it up, but maybe a Zebby strikeout ladder, up to even double digits, I think is possible for Matthews. So I'm pretty excited about him tonight. Certainly going to be one of the pitchers that I have the most of. And yeah, I'm with you on the Twins. I think they look good. You going to the Angels at all? I think I'm just going to, ride most of the Zebby.
Yeah, it's going to be mostly Zebby, but I'm going to keep the top 4 or 5 in here for one-offs, just because of the price tags, right? Like we've got Trout at 4K, Neto's down to 4,200. So I'm going to keep them in for one-offs, but I'm not going to be stacking any Angels because I will be probably well over the field on Zebby here.
Yeah, I certainly will be as well. Let's get to San Diego for the Padres and the Reds. Michael King going to take the mound for the Padres. Has made just one start since May 18th. He only made it back for 2 innings against Boston back exactly a month ago, back on August 9th. Hard to know what to expect from Michael King. He had an awesome year last year and actually pitched pretty well for most of this year before getting hurt. But I think maybe 5 innings out of King, something like that. 9,700. I'm going to wait and see with Michael King. I do think he'll be pretty good while he's out there, so I'm not going to the Reds or anything like that. But 9,700 for King feels like a lot to me. And then Zach Littell going for Cincinnati. A decent real-life arm, but not really much of an exciting fantasy option. Just the strikeouts aren't there very often for Littell. Hard to imagine they would be in a low strikeout matchup against the Padres. So I'm out on the arms here, and it would just be Padres bats that I'd be looking at, but I'm frankly not all that excited about them either. So mostly a cross-off game here for me, Steve. Not going to have a ton from this one.
Yeah, not going to get to either pitcher here. I'm seeing King over 10%. This is kind of why I want to condense my pitchers. I don't want to be spreading things around too much. It would be a good matchup if he was full go, but he didn't have any rehab starts. The bullpen is obviously elite behind him. I think max 5 innings for King here. I could see even less than that. So at 9,700, I'm going to be out. Like, I just want to play Bieber, as a contrarian option if I'm going up that far. So I'm with you. I'm out on both arms. Definitely not playing any Reds though against King in this bullpen. It started to fall apart quickly for Zach Littell. He's given up 7 bombs in his last 3 starts. That is his big issue, is giving up power. He's now given up 34 home runs this season in 28 starts. So I think I've got to keep the power bats at least in the pool for one-offs here for San Diego. I'm not going to be full stacking them, but I'll keep Tatis, Machado, O'Hearn, Laureano, Sheets, and Jackson Merrill just having a very surprising, struggling season. Like, the Padres are 2 games back of the Dodgers, and Jackson Merrill, who was arguably their best player coming into the season, has just done nothing. So just shows how great their pitching staff is. But it'll only be power hunting against Littell. I won't be stacking, and then no arms here either.
Yeah, certainly Merrill. Yeah, I mean, he looked like he was going to be a star this year. It certainly hasn't worked out for the most part for him. But yeah, similar thoughts on this game overall. I don't understand what the field is doing. Why is Michael King more owned than Shane Bieber? That doesn't make sense to me. And I certainly don't understand why 20% of the field wants to play Spencer Strider. But I guess hopefully we can take advantage of it and win some bread tonight. Let's go to Seattle for the Cardinals and the Mariners. Cardinals going with lefty Matthew Liberatore, coming off an awesome game against the A's last time out, 7 strikeouts over 5 1/3. They've been cautious with his pitch counts for the most part. Kind of expect him around 75 to 80 pitches. About 5 innings is probably all that you can hope for out of Liberatore. He's a decent pitcher for sure. Don't think I'm going to play him even at 6,600 against the Mariners. And then I do like George Kirby on the other side, coming off a shellacking in Tampa. I did watch that game. Just nothing went right for Kirby from the very first pitch. He was barking at umpires, and it just was just one of those games for George Kirby. Pulled after 54 pitches in this one. I don't think there was anything wrong with his health or anything like that, though. I do think he's primed really well for a bounce back spot against a team that we've both been picking on a lot. This Cardinals offense has really died out. It was never good, but it's been even worse in the second half of the year. Always love Mariners pitchers pitching at home. Kirby in particular has been much, much better at home than on the road this year. So $10K George Kirby. I don't love the price tag, but he does feel very, very safe here, Steve. on a night where I don't think there's all that many super safe pitchers. So I am in on Kirby, not playing Cardinals. And then, the Mariners' power, right? I mean, Arozarena, Raleigh, Julio's been on fire. Eugenio Suarez is cheap. I think all these guys are pretty reasonable plays. Maybe better one-offs, trying to pick off home runs against Liberatore makes sense to me. What are you doing with Cardinals and I almost called them Seahawks? Mariners. We're in football mode already.
Yeah, tough to get to Liberatore here. It's not like Seattle's a good matchup for left-handed pitching anyways. So I'll be out on him. There's no reason for them to push him here. He's now, already 50 innings clear of his previous season high. So completely understand the Cardinals taking the long-term approach with him in a lost season. So can't go to him here. Do like Kirby, though, to bounce back, like you said, back at home where he's just a much better pitcher with the style of arm that he is. And like you said, I feel like every time that we've been on the show for the last, 3 or 4 weeks, I basically said we're playing the arm against the Cardinals. It doesn't really matter who it is. I think last week, I can't remember who it was, but super low owned and was the top scoring pitcher on the entire slate. So I'm going to continue to jam arms against St. Louis.
Severino.
Yep, Sevy. Yeah, that's right. Second highest strikeout rate in the split over last month, 29th weighted runs created plus, 30th in ISO last 30 days. They did get Burleson back, which is good. But still, I want to just continue to jam pitchers against this Cardinals team. Big games for Seattle. They're 2 games back in the division. They've got a 1.5 game lead over Texas for that third wild card. So these are big games. I have no qualms about Kirby's duration here. Like you said, I think the low pitch count last time was just him getting shelled and they wanted to get him out of there. So I expect full go for him. The price tag's a bit tough, but if he were any cheaper, he would be, 60% owned on the slate. So I will be playing him. You mentioned the Seattle righties. Let's pull up Sabre here for them. Arozarena, Raleigh, Julio, Suarez, just elite one-offs. You can add Mitch Garver in there who has pop against lefties too. So same thoughts here, one-offs against him. Not going to full stack in this park though.
Yeah, I do think they're better as one-offs, but I mean, if there's 5 good one-offs in a row,
yeah, but there's 6,200, 5,300.
I know, but
these aren't cheap bets.
The stack still has to be good if you like 5 hitters in a row as one-off plays. So maybe rethinking that a little bit, but yeah, I do think Seattle. Liberatore's given up plenty of power to right-handed hitters. Again, he's a decent young pitcher, but certainly Seattle could do a number on him tonight. So I do like them as it looks like another contrarian stack. Most ownership, as we talked about, condensed on just a couple of teams. Let's go to the next game. We've got the Diamondbacks and the Giants in San Francisco. 2 veteran pitchers going here. Robbie Ray going for the Giants. We've kind of been on the Robbie Ray fade train, which looked not so good through, I think, 3 innings against the Rockies. What do you have, 7 strikeouts in a perfect game or something? And then it did fall apart for Robbie Ray. Thankfully, the Rockies did get to him with the bats that we liked. So got bailed out a little bit there. Velocity was back up again, though. So I don't know quite to think about Robbie Ray again. I mean, that is now, 3 out of the last 4 starts have been rough. But I kind of think he's back to normal, but I don't want to jump back on so easily. I don't know what to do with Robbie Ray. I just think I'm going to not play him and hope for the best. Not really going to Diamondbacks bats, though, against him this time. And then Zach Gallen going for Arizona. He's a really tough one for me to pin down, Steve, on where the talent level is at any given time. The stuff's never been great for Gallen. He's kind of a wizard out there, kind of a Greg Maddux type where he's out thinking hitters. And I think sometimes, like when his confidence isn't there or he's not pitching well, it can go south for Gallen. But we have seen stretches where he's been really good for long stretches at a time. 3 big starts in a row for Gallen, and not the easiest matchups in the world. And he gets another strong matchup here against the Giants in a great place to pitch in San Francisco. Is one of the few pitchers who you can hope for, 95, 100 pitches out of pretty reliably. 8,400 is I think, kind of a lot to pay for Zach Gallen, but I think he's interesting here. Ownership going to be low, 5%. Yeah, I'm in on Gallen if that number is going to be even close to true. So, yeah, I guess sign me up for some Zach Gallen tonight. What are you doing with Giants and Diamondbacks here?
Yeah, 2 pitchers who are extremely tough to figure out where they're at from start to start. Gallen has been good for about a dozen starts now overall. Good underlying metrics in his last 12. He's got a 3.4 ERA in his last 12. I wish he was cheaper. Like, if he was Zebby's price, I think I would be more in, but it is a nice park. I think he's an interesting tournament play. He was my last cut, was Gallen, but I only have 5 pitchers in the pool. So the 6th best pitcher is still a good play here. I think he's reasonable. And if you see on our screen here, our guy Captain has him almost 2 points clear of the Sabre projection. I do like that when we are higher on a pitcher like that. Ray, like you said, the velo was up. Arizona's been pretty pesky against left-handed pitching lately in the split. They are striking out a lot, though. 6th highest strikeout rate. 9,500 is tough for me to get to with Ray, especially at this ownership. People are just clicking names, I think, expecting them to be the pitcher that they were 2 years ago. We talked about it with Strider. I think I'd just rather play Kirby. I'd rather get up to Bieber here. I do get it. Pitching at home in this park, it's not comfortable for me climbing ownership and now higher owned than George Kirby, at least according to Sabre's projections here.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't, and maybe the Sims don't like playing the same pitcher in the same game. And so I do think that's contributing to Gallen's low ownership as Ray rises, probably keeps Gallen low. So I got to be in at that 5% number for Zach Gallen. So he'll certainly be on a team or 2 of mine. 2 more games to talk about. We'll go back over the slate, do a quick pick 6 to wrap it up. But first, let's talk about the last 2 games, Boston and the A's. And really one of the only super good hitting environments on the slate. You could argue the only one that really stands out in Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. Red Sox going with rookie Connolly Early, who's got some impressive numbers down in the minor leagues. Was crushing Double-A and then made a few starts at Triple-A. Basically did the same thing. Obviously, the biggest transition of all by far is moving up to the big leagues. So we'll see how he does. I might have taken a shot at a cheaper price, but no discount here. 7,200 for Early. Tough park to pitch in, and obviously a powerful team in the A's. So I don't think I'm getting to Early, but I am curious to see how he looks. I kind of expect him to look pretty good overall. He'll go up against fellow lefty Jeffrey Springs, who's put together some decent starts overall. Definitely prefer using him on the road, though. And yeah, I don't love the matchup for him here. There are strikeouts to be had for sure, but didn't end up getting to Springs. Steve, what are you doing with Boston and the A's?
Yeah, if Early was in a different park, I think you could add him to the pool, but I'm just not going to play a guy making this debut in this park with 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. Yeah, these are 2 left-handed pitchers coming to this park against 2 teams that have big-time right-handed power. For the 100th straight slate, everyone's going to be on the road team here in Sacramento. Great spot, obviously, against Springs, who is going to struggle in this park based on his pitching style, and he's going to give up bombs. Our friends at Ballpark Pal had a nice note today 2.87 home runs per game this season in this park, which is 24% higher than the MLB average. But when winds are blowing more than 10 miles an hour, it's up to 3.17 per game. So pretty large bump here. Like you said, by far the best hitting environment on the slate. I will say, if you're playing Boston, there's some pinch hit risk with this team against left-handed pitching. I think we should outline those guys. Definitely Nate Eaton, especially if he leads off. I expect will be 30-40% owned here at 2,400. Eligible at 2 positions, which is only going to make him higher owned. So I think Eaton, Ref Snyder, and Sogard are probably the biggest threats here by far. They've been letting Romy Gonzalez hit against righties at least for a bit. I think him and Story are the 2 best plays in this game by far. Romy Gonzalez has just been absolutely smashing left-handed pitching all season. And then, I think this early kid could eventually be good. It's just an impossible spot to make a debut going to this park against the A's, who have a bunch of right-handed power. So I'll be on both sides here. It looks like the field is not going to get to the A's, at least with current projections, likely because the price tags are high on guys like Kurtz and Langoliers. But, we've discussed some cheap pitching. I think both sides of this game are viable. I will say, we're going to talk about the Dodgers next. If you play expensive Dodgers and cheap Boston, just know that you're going to be holding hands with a good amount of the field.
Yeah. I'm a little tempted to get an early share in there. Cheap price point, nobody on him. He is, full-time pitcher, can throw 100 pitches. And he's pitched really well, at every level. So might get to an early share, but we'll see. Let's talk about the last game of the slate, the Dodgers and the Rockies. Not in Coors Field, it is in Dodger Stadium, but still really good spot for the Dodger bats against German Marquez, who, of course, has been worse when he's pitched in Coors, but has also been very bad when he's pitched on the road, as has the rest of the Rockies pitching staff. Do they have any good pitchers, Steve, the Rockies? Any at all? I'm not sure.
Dolander's had a couple good starts in a row. Shut him down last night.
He's their most talented one for sure,
Yeah.
Chase Dolander. Marquez, he's not it. He is not him. I think this Dodgers team expected to do some damage. They got Max Muncy back yesterday, who should prove to be a pretty big boon to their lineup overall. I think he's a really good play at 4K. Ohtani, Freeman, I think the lefties are the best plays, but certainly don't mind the likes of Mookie Betts and Teoscar. Anyone else in the Dodgers lineup, I think, is in play in a really good spot against Marquez and the Rockies. And then our guy, Emmett Sheehan, throwing for the Dodgers. Really solid kind of starting rotation debut. He's made some starts in the past, but kind of got a chance in earnest starting in the second half this year. And he's been solid for the Dodgers. He's had some tough matchups along the way, too. Certainly gets not a tough matchup here against the Rockies, who are still, I think, when you get the Rockies away from Coors, it is the best possible spot for right-handed pitchers in particular. So Sheehan, impossible not to like him at 9K. I know you're going to be in on Michael Sheehan as well. Go ahead, Steve. Last game of the slate here. Rockies and Dodgers in LA.
Yeah, Sheehan, great spot here. Basically the best on-paper matchup that you can draw up. Road Rockies against a right-handed pitcher. He's been really good since they finally put him in the starting rotation. I know we've both kind of wanted them to give him a chance throughout the season. It took a couple injuries to make that happen, but he has been really good. He's flashed strong strikeout upside. He's got a 3.22 xFIP since coming in the rotation. I think he's made lineup viable here, even at 9K, which, if you're just kind of looking at name value, might have some sticker shock, but I think he's worth it, especially in this spot. So really like Sheehan here. We don't have the Dodgers lineup. Let's see what Sabres got here. Will Smith looks like tentatively could be back here. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, Muncy coming back. We've said it. I think he's kind of the engine to this lineup. Just one less pinch hit risk guy goes a long way when you're fully stacking a team that's usually pretty expensive. So they did not get the job done last night, but I think a much better spot tonight against Marquez, who gives it up to both sides of the plate. I didn't play much Dodgers last night. I am really in on them here. I was kind of expecting them to be higher owned across the board in this spot. I think more people will go to Boston. I like the Dodgers more than Boston here.
Me too.
Against a much worse pitcher at home. So Conforto and Kim probably the big pinch hit risk here, but like we said, pretty consistently with Colorado, their bullpen only has one lefty in it right now. He's probably available, but he did throw 40 pitches on Sunday. So probably at best a short outing for him. So a little less pinch hit risk overall, only having one lefty in the bullpen makes me like the Dodgers even more, honestly, especially the left-handed bat. So, it's all systems go spot on the Dodgers. Hopefully people are a bit gun-shy to go back after they busted last night. But I think they're pretty clearly the top stack on the board.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Good note on the lefty there. And, they could easily use him at the top of the order against Ohtani or Freeman or not at all. And then when there's only one, right, the manager knows that. And oftentimes, or more often, they'll let the lefties pinch hit guys hit against them if it's in the fifth inning or something, knowing that there could be two more bats coming against right-handed relievers down the stretch.
Normally, I would say that, but it is Dave Roberts here that we're talking.
Fair point. I have been countered by the Joker card of it is Dave Roberts.
It is Dave Roberts.
I got nothing in return. Steve, let's go back over our favorite plays on the slate, starting at pitcher. Who are you looking at on DraftKings?
Yeah, so I've been kind of narrowing down the pool here on the show. I'll probably end up with something like this here. I'll likely axe Robbie Ray. I think my single entry team will probably be Sheehan and Zebby Matthews here. But like I talked about before, Shane Bieber, I think, is a really, really good tournament play on this slate. 4% ownership. He's not that much more expensive than Robbie Ray, and I just have a lot more faith in his talent level at the current point than I do with Ray. So Bieber's my favorite contrarian play of the slate at pitcher.
I like that call on Bieber. For me, Matthews is the first pitcher into my lineup tonight with the heavy strikeout matchup against the Angels. And then I do like Sheehan a lot. I think that's going to be my core, Sheehan and Zebby. The other guy I'm considering, and it is partly an ownership play, but Zach Gallen, I think he's way under-owned at the projected 5% ownership given how well he's pitched. And really good parking matchup for Gallen in San Francisco. So I will be certainly way over the field on Zach Gallen. Steve, what about the stacks? Give us 3 stacks you're looking at tonight.
Yeah, number one for me is the Dodgers. I don't think that's going out on a limb at all. But let's go back to the Blue Jays here. I really like the Blue Jays in this spot. I think they're going to go way overlooked against, like we said, with Luis Garcia. If you missed the start of the show, some pretty damning underlying metrics that people usually wait to see it before, to see the results go south before they play it. And I am in on taking a chance on a top, 3 to 5 offense in this spot at home on a slate where there isn't that much that people are going to want to play outside of the Sacramento game and the Dodgers.
I like that call on the Blue Jays. I like the Dodgers as well. The Cubs against Spencer Strider are going to be my number one owned stack tonight. And then I think the White Sox lefties against Adrian Hauser make some sense as a contrarian option as well. I'll go one more. Give me the Brewers against Jack Leiter. I think they could get a lot of guys on the base paths, and we know they like to get off to the races. Could see them doing some damage at low ownership against Jack Leiter. Let's do a quick pick 6, Steve. I will steal the screen share from you, and we'll pull it up. First thing we got to do is bet against our guy Strider, right?
I was looking. They don't have his under for strikeouts available.
Well, let's
They
just
do have the under on outs, though.
Yeah, I like that. Or earned runs allowed. I mean,
Yeah. Let's do the earn runs over the outs because you can still go 6 here.
Yep. All right, Strider over 1.5 earned runs allowed. Guy we both like, Zebby Matthews. Let's see what they got for him. Okay, no strikeout prop listed. Could take outs, but I think it's strikeouts that we really want with Zebby, so maybe pass on that one.
Let's go to let's see if they have any unders on. There's no unders on Nate Eaton.
Some of these pinch hit guys.
Yeah. Looking at like him and Ref Snyder to see if we can take any unders on them. I like it less with Ref Snyder. What about Sogard? They probably don't even know that Nick Sogard is in the league. What about Bieber over 4.5 strikeouts here?
Oh, yeah. That's easy cheese right there.
It's a pretty low number for old Shane. And likely the reason why no one's going to be playing him if that's his his problem.
Yeah, you can be sure he's going to stay low. And let me look at Zach Gallen. You know what? We'll throw in another 4.5 strikeouts on Zach Gallen like that against the Giants. Get some bats in here, Steve. Offense?
I'm looking at the hits, runs, and RBIs props here. Looking at a couple teams that we like. Let me go to.
How's Ian Happ been swinging it? Hits, runs, RBIs.
He's been good. Yeah,
right.
Happ hitting second tonight. I'll
throw that in there. Hits, runs, RBIs for Ian Happ.
And then there's a boost on Max Muncy over 1.5 total bases is 1.1x on Max Muncy, who I know that we both like a lot here.
I like the sound of that. Max Muncy. Total bases? Oh, yeah, there it is. 1.5 with the multiplier as well. We need one more, Steve. You got one for us?
Yeah, looking at who did I have up here? I want to take an under on one of these pitchers. They just locked Robbie Rays. Here's a fun one. How about under 3.5 strikeouts for Kyle Hendricks?
Feels pretty good. Didn't strike out a single batter last time out. My Twins will probably get him there. But, yeah, I do like the under on the Hendricks strikeouts. There you have it, pick 6. Kyle Hendricks to get fewer than 4 strikeouts. Max Muncy, 1.5 total bases or more. Ian Happ, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Gallen and Bieber, 5+ strikeouts. And Strider to give up at least 2 earned runs. That'll do it for the Ticket Tuesday edition of the show. Good luck to Christian Lyon trying to take us down for the first time in the contest. It'll be me and Stats back same time, same place tomorrow. We'll be in the Discord for the next hour answering questions, getting cores in, getting our own lineups in, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate the support. Hit the like button on the way out. For Boyden, I'm DC. We're out of here.